Now for the track guide. Before starting, guys, if you want to improve at a quicker pace, check out my sim racing course in the video description. Now going into the track guide itself, for turn 1, you really want to cut as much as you can from this green curb. There will be a limit where you will take the off track, but the more you cut here, the better your line will be through turn 2 and especially turn 3, because if you will cut less, you will have to compensate for that in this section by turning your steering wheel more and increasing the tire temps. So even though this is a flat out corner, you can make it easier for the tires if you think ahead of time in regards with tire temps in turn 3. So definitely here we're just thinking ahead of turn 3, and you can use this part to open up the corner slightly. This will give you a slightly better arch into the corner, but don't use too much to the point that you will turn too late, because notice that here this exit road opens very late into the corner. We have grass and then we have this concrete. So if you will focus too much on opening the corner, you might turn quite late for turn 1 and you will end up not cutting enough. So this is the highlight. Now you will get pushed all the way here because you're carrying a lot of speed, and from this position now you don't want to bring the car too far on the right. You will just use the steering wheel a bit too much. We're talking here about optimizing almost like 1/10 of a second. It's not much, but it's free lap time that you can get each lap. There's not something special about it. You just have to think about turning your steering wheel less to avoid scrub. So again, I'm not pushing it all the way to the center, I'm just pushing it a slightly bit more towards the right. So now when I'm taking this left-hander, this is a flat out corner of course, but I'm cutting it as much as I can with my tires almost hitting the grass here and this orange part on the grass to shorten the distance. And to avoid steering more, because I want to be on the exit for turn 3. I want to be really close to the white line on the left side. So right now I'm very close to the white line on the left side. So when I'm braking actually in a straight line. I'm not going diagonally into the braking zone because my car is not in the center of the track. So right now you don't want to brake on this curve. You can brake on the white line instead. And when going into the corner, you have to be very close to the red sausage curve. When you hit the middle part, like right now, you should apply the steering. You should apply the throttle. 0-100 on the throttle very aggressively. Bring the car into the center right, don't go all the way to the right, you will lose time by doing that. And then braking, and what's important here is to be early on throttle. Notice that I'm pushing the throttle here. This is earlier than the apex. That's because from this point onwards we have a big straight, and we want to make the straight even bigger by being earlier on the throttle. So the earlier you're gonna be here on the throttle, the better it's gonna be. Obviously you will bring the car here all the way to the right. So if you're not touching this part of the curb with the right tires, you're doing something wrong. You can carry a couple more kph by pushing the throttle earlier, and now it's just a big straight. And for the next corner, the braking point will be the 50-meter board, like slightly past the 50, I'm applying the brakes. What's important here to realize, it's the rhythm of the downshift. And keep in mind, I'm using the fixed setup, the brake bias is 54%. And you don't want to downshift very quickly here. You want to keep the momentum of the car. The timing is very important in this corner. If you will downshift quickly, you will mess up the timing, because you want to arrive with the car at its lowest speed when the car is close to the green curb. So if you kill the momentum here, this will be too early. You have to keep going, and just here at this point to go back on throttle as we're seeing right now. So if you notice my rhythm of downshifts, I'm going 6th, 5th, 4th, now wait, then 3rd. So I'm delaying the downshift to 3rd so that I will match the car's speed around here to be the lowest when I'm pushing the throttle. And when you go back on gas, you should cut this green curve as much as you can, like this, all the way to the grass. There's an off-track limit here, of course, but it's better to get the off-track first and dilate it down than to just avoid it altogether and leave some lap time on the table. Now when you're gonna push the throttle, you will reach 4th gear and your car will be to the white line. Don't go more than the white line. If you will have the tire on the curb or on the green, this corner will be super difficult, and this corner leads to a decent straight again. So you have to prioritize the straight by not pushing the car all the way to the right side. You will downshift to third gear, and this is like a double apex corner. My first apex is very early. Like right now I'm apexing when downshifting to third. This is my first apex. Then the car will track out a bit wider into the, let's call it center, but it's not exactly the center of the track. And then I'm apexing again here at the second to last orange dot on the grass, and holding the throttle firmly, using all the track on the exit like this. So this is the timing into the corner. You have to take 2 apexes, and when you go on throttle you have to go early and confidently. This will gain you time on this straight, and now into the high speed corner you can gain and lose a lot of time here. So first of all, I want you to notice this grass tire patch sign around here on the left. Notice that I cut this grass in the previous laps. You can do this without taking a day off track, and it will open up this corner and you will carry more speed. So this is the first thing you have to do. You have to use a bit the grass here. iRacing won't give you an off track. You will have the same grip when turning in, because you're not gonna put all the tire on the grass. You will just scrub it with, let's say, half the tire, and when you turn, that's fine because you won't lose grip. And right now when I'm turning, I'm downshifting to fifth and I'm braking, of course, first. But what's important to do, and this is like very critical in this corner, you want to brake after you turn. So you don't want to brake in a straight line then turn. You want to first turn and brake. You don't want to turn and brake at the same time either, because you want to use the downforce of the car to just give you a slightly bit more grip into the first phase. Then you're gonna brake, so delay your braking point. That's the first thing. Turn first, 100% throttle, delay your braking point, downshift to fifth gear, and aim at the grass. Right now I'm looking at this grass because I want to get very close to grass like this. And I'm immediately back on throttle. Why? Because again, we are dealing now with a decent straight. So at this point in time, I'm already back on gas. Notice how much curb I cut. And staying on 100% throttle, off-track limit is you getting the right tires past the white line here. And for the maggots and Beckett's, first things first, you want to use this red sausage curb like this. Notice that I'm mounting it. It will allow you to open up the corner slightly bit more. So again, we're trying to maximize the radius into the corners. Then when getting into the corner, because I'm using the fixed setup, I'm braking and I'm turning and then braking. So exactly like in the previous corner, you just have to brake a slightly bit, hold it slightly bit more, but don't go to fifth gear, stay in sixth, push the throttle again, have the car in the center of the track, and then brake and downshift to fifth, cut all the way to the grass, go back again on throttle, and again brake and go on throttle on the curb. So as you can see in these traces, in the last 3 corners, last 3 braking zones, the braking is not that, you don't spike the brakes too much, you just barely brush it, keep the car balance in check, hold the brakes so the car will rotate, but when you go on throttle, it's 0-100, 0-100. Notice this shapes around here. This is what you want to do. This is gonna give you a smooth exit. And now into the last part of the track, after the hanger straight, we have this right-hander. I'm braking at the 50 or slightly before the 50, like right now, beginning of the curve. Downshifting to 4th gear, I'm aiming at this red parts on the grass. You want to put the right tire even closer to them. You can gain a bit more time if you put them even closer. 0-100 on the throttle, maybe slight lift if you will get the off track. Again, you have to have the right tires on the white line. And into the last braking zones. My preference for braking is the beginning of this curve, like right now. Braking in a straight line where you're doing the first part of braking. Keep the steering wheel straight, you will have a slightly bit more grip. Then as you bleed more and more in 2nd gear, you will release the brakes, you will hug this red sausage curb, and immediately after you get past the red sausage, you will push the throttle. You want to reach 100% throttle in between these corners, and when you turn for this corner, you want to look at the red sausage curb again, because you want to get very close to it. I'm just doing a lift to make the front end point more, so to shift a bit more weight on the front tires, but don't do this lift to 0. Just find the minimum lift that you can do here. This is how you gain time. and then pushing it back to 100, getting close again to this red sausage curb. And in short, that's a track guide around Silverstone. Hope you like it, hope you enjoy it. If you want to improve, check out my course, and see you next time. Bye bye.